Meeting for Lawrence County Government to order today. I'm assuming you guys already did the pledge and the prayer at the Highway Committee meeting, okay?
All the flags on.
Flags, every which way, any way you turn in here, you can find a flag. All right, so let's get started tonight. Everybody got an agenda that's at the table? Let's talk about we've got to look at the opioid abatement statement and approve that to move it on to the full commission.
That full number was in the budget. I just forgot to give y'all the breakdown, during the budget committee meeting.
I saw that on the newspaper ad and I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember talking about that, so I figured that's what it was.
I entertain a motion to accept that.
Make a motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, questions? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? So moved. All right, moving on to the next agenda item, talking about the dead stock removal. Okay, the state cut their funding last year, and then they cut it again this year. They're down to $100,000 across the district for 10 counties. It's $10,000 apiece. So it puts us estimated based on last year's stock density that was picked up by the dead stock removal program. It puts Lawrence County provider cattlemen on the hook for $67,500. So we fund this already at $79,388. We're proposing that we add the extra $67,500 to that to get them through this year. And with a new governor coming in, I'm optimistic that we can figure out a way, and so are some other county mayors who are going to help me fight to get this money put back in the budget. It's something that Governor Lee's administration was doing some cuts at the end. It's one of the things they cut out because we were the only district in the state getting it. There's 9 developmental districts, and we're the only one getting this money from the state, so they said it wasn't equitable across the board. So it's something actually the next gubernatorial administration, according to who that is, will be petitioned to put it back in and make it a statewide program. Again, statewide, it's only $2.8 million out of their budget to add this dead stock removal. So I'm proposing that out of fund balance that we put $67,500 in there so that the cattle producers in Lawrence County are not on the hook for paying the extra cost, because a lot of them, one, may not be able to afford to pay that. I don't mind to pay that as a cattleman. Philip, me and you talked about that. You don't mind to pay something either, but there's a lot that may just begin to drag those animals down the holler somewhere, and we may see a mess again all over the county. We know the Amish will most likely do that.
Is this gonna come out of what's left over from last year, or just?
Yeah, it would come out of surplus from last year.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So this will be a 1-year thing, in my opinion. I think, again, the state has weaned us down. This will be kind of helping the local farmers until we can see what will happen in the next administration. There's a good chance this program, if it can't be saved in the next admin, it may go away altogether, and then they're going to create a whole new way to fund this endeavor.
So this is, it's $45 per head, that's just the addition. Do you know what they charge per head? I mean, like, let's say there was no funding, what it would cost someone to.
So you have to take this other, for our county, we put another $80,000 in there. Yeah. And the thing is, they do so many counties adjacent to one another that if you started contracting as your own county, because I talked to some, I'll be honest, I've talked to some guys local that do garbage hauling, and I said, hey, would y'all want to get in the dead stock business, and they would need more than one county to make it worth their while to have the whole vehicle. 1,500 head a year is not going to be enough for them, even at $100 a head, to justify doing it. So they would need 4 or 5 counties at least, and then you got the tipping fees. Lewisburg is a place that takes them over there, so that's where you got to take them to from all the way from Lawrence County. So this company that's been doing it for years, well, it gets bid out over so many years. It was a 5-year contract. We're 3 years in. There's 2 years left on the contract, but the state's cutting their funding for it. So my recommendation is we help the Lawrence County farmers out, but it's a Band-Aid. Honestly, it's not a long-term solution unless the next gubernatorial administration will help us out and reinstitute that program. And we're pushing for it statewide. So, and I the Farm Bureau's helping push for it. There's a lot of people helping push for it, and we're pretty optimistic that we can probably get it done statewide.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I said that.
Second, do we have any further discussion? Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. All right, the shelter, contribution, we had made some adjustments on the nonprofit, the nonprofit committee cut it to 10. I'm recommending to you all that we raise that back up to their original request, which is $15,000 to the shelter. I think there was other things that ended up getting cut, but the shelter is one of those necessity organizations that help offset costs for law enforcement and all kind of other things. And I don't think $15,000 a year is a crazy amount of money for them to request from us to help them.
Well, speaking of law enforcement, did the sheriffs, I know they only ask for 5,000 every year, you got cut to 3,500, did it go back up to the sheriff's reserves? Did you go back up to the 5,000 and we put everything back in, or?
Remember.
Did the nonprofit committee cut it? Because if it did, we went back to what the
I don't-
nonprofit committee recommended.
The nonprofit committee did not cut it.
Did not cut the sheriff's reserves?
No, we had it at 5,000 and I think y'all cut it 10%.
We probably did, but then we raised it back.
Y'all raised it back, I think, yeah. Kind of.
Right.
We cut everything 10%.
Yeah.
Let's look at the shelter here. I'd entertain a motion to increase that back.
Like motion we approve.
All right, do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll say that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. Do you want to double check on the,
I'm looking for it
all
now.
right. Let's talk about any other business.
There was,
Thought we had-
where'd Benny go?
Right there behind.
Behind us.
Yeah, I know a little bit about what I think you need to bring up. You probably know more if you want to bring it up.
Well, we've got Donnie here too.
Oh,
I
is
won't
he?
get him
I didn't-
involved.
Yeah.
There was a line item in the original, budget, $50,000, something like $50,000.
I think it was 50,000, but I mean,
But,
for the position.
yeah, for
An
a
assistant
secretary
to
for,
you.
the veterans.
And I was supposed to call you on
Offside.
that, and I apologize.
But anyway, it was taken out. I wanna put it back in there, but I don't necessarily want the 50,000 limit. I want Donnie to
This,
present his figures of
That's
what he
fair.
needs.
Let me see.
who gets it? I've got several copies of it.
I think you said
I can't
David,
remember.
that's the number. I'm with
I
you.
can't remember what, we were gonna ask him a question, and I don't know why, I can't remember what it was now, so.
We were gonna talk to him about, cremated remains.
About what?
Remember?
Remains.
That's one thing we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about.
that's one thing,
Well,
for
but
sure, yeah.
one thing it was is that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said that it might make it with some part-time, and we discussed.
We had that discussion about the WIOA.
We owe
grant.
the.
WIOA grant, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we discussed about.
That's
So on
exactly what it was.
On the WIOA grant, but the way that I think that works sometimes, as long as the grant's there, it's about, what, 6 months?
Yes.
But isn't that like,
But it's
Three-
age, the age is
3,000.
young, it's 14 to 24, I think, is the age range, so.
yeah, and see, that's what, about $3,000 that they're getting paid? We're not, I'm being honest, what kind of help you gonna get for
Right.
that kind of money?
You
And
need
some of
somebody
it
more
is-
consistent than that, answering
Yeah.
phones and all that.
And some of the things that they're gonna be talking about, and knowing they're gonna need to keep under
Mr.
their
Chairman.
hat, not talk.
Right, we can't talk about it now.
One second, Diddy.
And not only that, it's data processing, because I've got like 6,000-7,000 files that's gotta be uploaded in the data process. Now, the general, which did come in, and the VA, they have, and I talked with them again this morning, they have approved statewide for service officers to have an assistant, if they wanted that assistant, or if the counties approved them, and they wouldn't require them to have the strict training that they require us to have to be able to look at a file. So basically, the HIPAA law is what they would have to have, and they're not allowed to do any kind of claims or anything like that, but I can have them upload, I can have them answer the phone, I can have them pull a file, and, go ahead and upload my DD 214s and get all of that in the system, because we'll spend, when a veteran comes in, we'll spend a good 30 minutes just getting that in the system before we can even start the process of the claim. So, you know, if we already have that in advance, this person, we're doing a lot better. Also, you know, I mean, I had a veteran just this week that was upset and complaining, and he's been in office 4 or 5 times, but he's wanting to go to Murfreesboro to get his ID card. Well, I can't really send people to go get an ID card, because DNR van is gonna be rolling constantly, because everybody's gonna wanna go to Nashville and Murfreesboro to get their ID card. So, but what I was able to do with this particular veteran, because I do have the van rolling, Monday to Murfreesboro, I put him on that van with that other veteran that's gotta go for medical appointment. But he had to understand also that this other veteran's gonna be there
Half a day or
half a day or
6
so,
hours.
and he's gonna be sitting and waiting on us to roll. But he also has early stages of dementia, so he's confused a lot. So he's really, yesterday he's fine, but Monday he may not be, who knows? But also this position, I can have them, schedule these appointments, and also at least relieve one of us to drive these veterans to these appointments. Right now, we're rotating between Jared and I. I'll leave for Nashville. I handle the Nashville area, and I've got him assigned to the Murfreesboro. But, you know, before COVID, we had right at 10 volunteer drivers. But when COVID hit, everybody quit. So now there's no volunteer drivers.
We got about
It's hard to get 'em.
4,500, 5,000 veterans in Lawrence County, is
Yes.
that right? Okay, Mr. Gillespie.
These guys have a job, a bad job, I mean, it's a hard job.
Yeah.
And they deal with some people that are great, good people, but they have some problems too. And they have to deal with their problems, PTSD problems, all kinds of stuff like that. And we need to help them. I let them down. It was my fault. I wasn't keeping up with it like I should have. But when I did find out, I said, oh my God, we gotta do something about this. This guy needs some help.
Hey, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
what about if you're gonna consider somebody, what is just the normal start out pay for just a regular secretary, and you know, that'll give you some baseline, you know.
Entry level.
Yeah, it's entry level's 35.
It's 35, and by the time you put all the insurance and everything to it, it goes to about 48, 270 something.
So the first.
That's your entry level. Okay. That's the basic you get to.
We need to get somebody that he can depend on. Gonna come to work every day and do his job and help him.
I got you.
'Cause I mean, basically, you know, like, the end of this month, I've gotta be at the nursing home speaking to the elderly. I'm gonna be out of the office, and then, you know,
Just ours.
and what I don't like is to have to, you know, like this week, I've had to go back and forth some places. I've had to shut the office, put signs on the door. Jared's on vacation. But at least if I got this position, the veteran's gonna see somebody, and the veteran's gonna hear somebody.
You're always gonna have somebody
You're
in
gonna
the
have
building.
somebody in that building, where if I'm running over here to take care of this issue, or going to this veteran's home because he's bedridden, or she's bedridden, and we gotta do the paperwork right there, because we get house calls. We also get the calls of, elderly abuse. We have to go investigate. So we get a lot of that stuff that we're around in town on, that, you know, I don't sit down and write it down and put it on the board every day, because if we get called, we go. But, you know, and then there's also the regular meetings that we have throughout the day that comes with, Mount Pleasant. I'm supposed to be meeting over there with that. I guess it's not the nursing homes, but the senior citizens. And I've missed that meeting a year. Basically because I can't get over there to do it. I can't leave the office. But it's kind of it would just kind of help me be able to do the PR side that I gotta do, as well as the the job itself.
Not to do away with this, but you talk about the volunteers you had before COVID. What are the requirements to be a volunteer driver? I mean, they have to pass background checks and all that?
They gotta pass the background checks, they gotta have a valid driver's license, they gotta have insurance, their own insurance.
Right.
I have to take them to Nashville to see a video, and a safety video and all that, and then the VA will then certify them as a volunteer driver. The only thing that they give the volunteer drivers is they give them a voucher when they get there to have lunch that day or something at that point. But in the past, we would always, as a group or whatever, try to honor them at least twice a year with a little cookout or something, and give them a little plaque or something thanking them for their volunteer services.
I'm just wondering, could we help solicit volunteers for you? Myself, I wouldn't mind volunteering, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how often I could do it, but I wouldn't mind doing
But
it.
see, that's the reason why we had so many we could call.
Yeah,
Because we don't know, like right now, if a veteran calls and say, I've got an appointment in Murfreesboro and I need to go in 2 days. Sometimes they don't know when they gotta go, they get the call, right? But a lot of times I have to tell them, no, I can't take you because I have appointments on this particular one. And I need at least 2 weeks' notice because it's just two of us. We gotta rotate, we gotta figure our schedule out to get them to their appointments.
I'm going to see if I can help find some people, some volunteers. I think everybody ought to try to, in their district, try to find some help. Some of this I wasn't aware of, some of it I have been aware of, so.
It's not like they're constantly, it's not like a constant roll of taking veterans to the hospitals or whatever now. There has been times where I take the veterans to their chemos. Now, those last sometimes 8, 10 o'clock at night to get them back home. But that's hours that you sit in the hospital for those veterans having their chemo treatments. So, you just never know how long you're gonna be in that particular one. But majority of the time when they call, I'm asking them what they're gonna be doing. So if I ask a volunteer, I can let the volunteer say, hey, look, you're going for chemo, you could be there 4 to 8 hours. If you don't wanna do it, you say, no, I can't do it, I got other commitments. But if I've got a list of volunteers to go through, it just makes it a whole lot easier. But just in the COVID, everybody that we had were in their, I guess, late 70s or early 70s and 80s. So they didn't want to take that chance of catching COVID. But now I've been in all the meetings with VFW, American Legion, DAV, and I constantly ask them, hey, I need volunteers, because they're supposed to be getting through Congress. I have to do a report on them that they get so much different community services. That's a great community service, but you gotta smack them around a little bit to realize, hey, look, you need to be doing this or helping out right here, but I've not had any luck with it.
Donnie, I got one more question.
All right.
Do you have another?
No.
I'm sorry. And for the record, I don't think anybody at this table didn't want to help you. We just, at that time, was like, hey, can we look in this We Over thing real quick? But anyway, the dead veterans, if I remember correctly, some of the ones that had passed that did not have families and stuff like that, someone was paying for their cremation, but we were having to find money, which we worked out with the city. We were getting them in Mimosa Cemetery. Is that all handled, or do we need to set some money aside? Because I do not want dead veterans driving around anymore.
It's not. It's very hard. If I get a veteran, if I get the call that they got a veteran that is passed and no family is a homeless veteran, or the family just won't have what they do with them, we still have to label them as a homeless veteran. The state helps to a certain point, but very little. All right, they'll let us. They'll pay back some of the cremation charges or whatever, but at the time, when you have that call and you got a veteran in the hospital basement, which happens a lot, or has in the past, and they got to be moved. So we got to get them transported to a freezer as quick as we can, and then set up trying to get them cremated. There is no money there for what these organizations charge to cremate a homeless veteran. So I contact the VFW, American Legion, and Disabled American Vets to get up some money to help get these veterans cremated. Now, the only funeral home that I've been able to really work with has been in Columbia, which is Heritage, I think it is, Rick Points. And he will actually give me a credit to get these veterans in. He'll come here and pick them up and take them back. And he normally gives an urn and everything. But, and it's at a lower price, pretty much at their cost or expense. So when all of that occurs, what I've now done with them is made them a vendor of VA, to where VA will give them a percentage back of the money that they have volunteered to give us or overlooked, because all your organization is all maxed out at $300. So, and most of these organizations now, like the VFW, American Legion of Disabled Veterans, they're declining in their memberships, they're declining in their money, they're just barely able to keep their light bills done. So they don't have that much money that they can just fork out $300 and $500 and all that to do it. But so far, we've been able to survive it doing that for the veterans and that we have that are homeless.
Well, I think we set aside some money, did we not?
For enough for two or something?
There's some money in the coroner's budget for Walker Memorial.
Okay. So,
Will we put two in there, Kane?
I think.
well,
so.
if there ends up being one
At
too.
at Music City. at
Put us on there with the
800.
Legion.
I think it's like
Yeah,
it's like $800.
All those two. That's still the
So I bet
side.
you come to
Don't forget about the
committee,
others.
tell them I need it.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever, I think we've set enough aside for two, so if you ever have one that, then please just
Well, if you have one, then we need to come in and put that,
put another one
budget
in there to
in
have,
the
yeah.
next
So you
session,
can
put it
fool
back
around
in.
with that.
And then I had something I wanted to say, if y'all
Yes, sir.
get it figured out. We just approved to spend $67,000 on dead cows. And we're worried about spending $48,000 to be able to take care of veterans. I make the motion to, I wasn't doing it for that, but I make the motion, I make the motion to put him,
Amen.
to put him a full-time person in at what he's got, if that's sufficient. The 48.
Yeah, I think I can get a
39
decent work. I think I can get a decent person.
So we'll say 50.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. Headley, we got a second by Barry. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? So moved.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Will you
Appreciate
change that in the budget, or do we need to have a
It'll
motion?
be a set of budget amendments
Okay.
for all three of
For all
them.
this, yeah.
Okay, so it'll just be budget.
So you'll have another,
We'll pass the budget, and we'll pass the budget amendment.
yeah, to amend the budget. It'll be another resolution on that.
So when we get the morgue set up,
Correct.
he could, if there is a homeless veteran, he can store them there until so he won't have to keep.
All three.
Yeah, we want to say, if they were parking as storage, we will have our own facility.
I just wanna make sure you don't have any more
I just want to be able to make
urns
sure I'm
with
going
dead
to
veterans in
leave
your
it
van.
Yeah,
Whatever we gotta do.
yeah, well, they rode it for a little while.
Well, I mean,
8 months.
if you gotta transport them somewhere, that's fine, but I don't want to sit in the van.
It's not, we'll have to have one,
Yeah.
VA will have to have one, and then you'll have the budget amendments. No, it's these budget amendments.
All right.
Make sure I don't sign. That was the only thing I think it's the only thing Danny has. I don't have anything else in budget, yeah.
All right, do we have any other new business? Anyone? All right, without any more recommendations, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the budget committee and move into.
Nothing on the list up there.
I don't think
So no changes.
Nothing's changed.
Then I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, second, all in favor? So moved. We are adjourned. Resolution committee meeting